Hello my friends and welcome back to another video. I won't be spending too much time talking about what's going on in the world right now because I've already had enough hearing about it. So just a 10 seconds status. I'm working from home last week and will be doing so next week. All shops are closed except supermarkets and pharmacies, stuff like that. Restaurants have to stay closed unless they can deliver stuff. No more than 10 people should be assembled at one place at the given time. So that is what it looks like right now. So I'm quite happy to live in the middle of nowhere, and even today more so because I'm going out to the forest. So if you want to join me, you can just stay tuned on this video and we'll go out there. So what I usually do on a day like this, the sun is shining and the weather looks nice, although it's only 5 degrees above freezing, so it's still quite cold. So I start the dishwasher, the washing machine, and my vacuum cleaner, and perhaps a tumble dryer, and then I head outside into the nice peace and quiet and let all the machines do their work while I'm away. So yeah, the solar panels are producing a lot of power today, so I'm also running my heat pump. So even though it's really hot inside the house, I'm just raising the temperature a bit more because it's basically free energy. So yeah, so it can go down in the evening and be a bit colder there. Something I haven't talked much about, I think, on my channel is that about a bit more than a year ago, I got the flu and then pneumonia, not any of the things that are running around right now. So, and I stayed home for far too long and ended up in intensive care for a week and a half because the long ward at the hospital they haven't any of the equipment to give me enough oxygen, so I have to be on a machine that could heat up the air and put moisture into it. So it sucked a great deal, and I spent the most of last year trying to feel normal again. So I went into the fitness center last winter, and I had to start all over again with 0 weights on all the machines, and I was using the elliptical trainer for 10 minutes at maximum 50 watts, which isn't anything. So yeah, that sucked. The doctor said I lost 13 kilos of muscle weight, so I said, couldn't have been fat? I said, no, a little bit of fat, but mostly the muscles have been eaten away. So, well, it took half a year to feel normal, and by the end of last year, I felt fine again. So I kind of learned to appreciate being able to breathe, and I'd like to continue to do that. Now the small incline here to the right coming up just in a second. It's a good reminder for me whenever I think I never achieved anything. I know it doesn't look like much on video, it really does, but I couldn't get up of this. And I was fighting, and I never managed to do it the first year or two, and then all of a sudden I do it every time, and it's a good reminder every time. Well, if you look down here, you can see it's going up a bit here, up a hill here. So yeah, so that's a good one to remind myself that something has changed since I began, and I know I'm not ever going to set any speed records or be fast in any capacity compared to someone who's been doing this their whole lives, but I have actually reached the point 2 years ago when I started having fun, when it just didn't feel like death all the time and pain and suffering. But I can see why some people do give up, because you have to go over that. You have to go past that to the point where it also starts to being fun, and you can gain a bit of speed here and there, and you learn how to prioritize when you need to relax and when you need to build up energy. And so yeah, and it's this one is a good reminder when I'm getting started on this trail. Now they have been cutting down trees here, and they say it's to improve the forest and some of the other trees. I really don't know much about it, but I have to keep a lookout here and there for trees and leaves and branches. So and this one I can't get through. My handlebars are quite wide, and I actually think there's a few inches on each side. So usually I can just wiggle it through, just before I get in, I turn it to the left and then to the right, and sometimes I miss that dance, and the handlebar get caught in the trees, and I I almost always fell over when that happens. And I used to fail this one a lot, and I saw a lot of other people not being able to get up here. But then one day I said, to hell with it, I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to do it on the small skier. I'm going to do it on the big one in front. So, and then I managed, and I almost always get up on it now, unless it's really muddy. And another great reminder for myself that how much I have improved. This is actually one of the oldest forests in the country, if not the oldest one. When the farmers began farming the land, this bit of land were too hilly and useless for making fields and for harvest, so they just let it be and have animals roaming around in it. So the hills are quite good for mountain biking, so the trail is really excellent for getting some different types of terrain under your wheels. And now we're coming up and one of those. It's right here. This one, as you can see, I'm not the only one missing this one, and I have wiggled my way through sometimes, but I'm not feeling it today. So, and there's a diversion here, and I take what you call the fun run. So there's a bit of a drop in the other one. They built a drop, and I'm not too keen on that when I'm riding alone. So I'm just doing the fun run here. And then we're getting into almost a 180 turn up here. So that actually were there in the beginning before the trail was built. And I remember being out in the forest looking at this. Oh man, this part here would be great for a mountain bike turn, just going down here, and they ended up actually using it. So you can see there's a lot of water in the distance. The problem is that there shouldn't really be water there, but we had so much rain in January and February that, well, everything was just mud, and I wasn't even out in the forest because it was too wet and muddy, and it absolutely no fun, and you would destroy the trail if you were riding it. So it definitely shouldn't be there right now. Now, Denmark is a small country, so we don't really have any untouched land left. And every piece of nature, people would like to get out and exercise and enjoy the nature. So there's quite a limited space available. So in this forest, we have this trail for mountain biking. We have trails for horse riding and for walking. And all of those have been put in place by the government as an institution, department for handling nature and forests and such. So they had told where the trails should be, and they had been supplying materials like wood and gravel and stuff like that. And then volunteers have been building the trails, a local mountain bike club, and so built by volunteers with supplies from the government. So they try to build the trails so that they don't intersect with the trails for horse riding or walking. We have got to cross each other's paths here and there, but they have tried to limit it as much as possible. So this is a part that I should be able to enjoy far more than I do right now, because it had a lot of gravel and loose rocks, so I was always kind of losing control of the bike, so I could be going down a lot faster here than I am. So, but I have to build up confidence for this one. Every time I've crashed somewhere, I always get chicken out, and it never ends well. So I have to build up, slowly go faster and faster there again until I feel secure there. So yeah, but it's a nice ride today there. It definitely is. Now, I'm not afraid to show you the slow parts where I'm not going fast because it's going uphill. So the first lesson you learn really is that the more speed you can build downhill, the faster you get up places like this. And I should have been able to go up way faster than I do here because I didn't build enough speed downhill. So, and then it looks like this. So. And then sometimes when you do get the courage and to go faster, all of a sudden the hill is like gone, and you're just, holy crap, I didn't even have to use power to get up of this hill anymore, because it's like it's not there anymore, and it feels like all of a sudden more of the trail is downhill actually. I know that sounds silly, but that's how it often feels like. I think that someone has tilted the entire planet, so now everything is more downhill. That's not how it felt today, you know. It felt decidedly like everything was going a bit uphill. And now I'm coming up to a bit that's going uphill again, and that one is a really good reminder for myself, because I remember the first year I was out here and I just could not get up there. It was a struggle and it was hard and it felt like impossible. And well, when we get to her in a second, you will be able to see that it's not really hard anymore. Now it's just another hill, and for some reason I seem to tend to forget that. I just need to keep reminding myself that all the things that was a struggle before is just easy now. And every time I'm out of breath and it's hard, I'm just, yeah, but you are going faster than you did last time or last year, you know. So, and it is getting better. So, and it is definitely getting to be more and more fun every time. So, yeah, that's, and it's coming up right here in a second. So this part was, I think this was built in fairly early on as part of the trail, and you can see to the right here we have a road for cars and walking. Well, you're not allowed to drive there, but if you have business in the forest you can. So, and now we're going to get to that hill. So you see in the beginning it's just going up a little bit, and hey, that's no problem. But then we get here and I need to get to a lower gear, and yeah, it's really hard to see on a recording like this because it doesn't really look like anything, does it? But I think you can see if you look at the road to the right, yeah, you can see we're getting quite up there, and just, yeah, here's the top here, and you can see if you look down here, so the road is down there to the right. So yeah, so let's move on to my arch nemesis, the boardwalk. So while we're driving down there, I gotta say I kind of nervous that we're going to end up with a complete lockdown here as well, because, well, especially inside the city, people doesn't seem to be, well, keeping a distance to each other, and the police have to start to hand out tickets soon. So I'm kind of fearing that we won't be able to allow to go even outside. But I suppose since I live in the countryside, no one will notice if I slip outside into the woods. So yeah, let's see what happens. So it starts over a small stream where I have just passed at this point, and the reason I don't like this part is that it's so slippery when it's wet, and sometimes the I wouldn't say bourbons, but the tilt of the wood is in the wrong direction compared to where you're going sometimes. And so I have crashed here twice, and it goes so fast you can't even correct, because your wheels are just skidding out and they have nothing to grab onto, and then you fall down on the wood, and that is really painful. So here's someone else out riding today, and that's what I like about this mountain biking. Everyone always says, hello, how are you doing, and have a nice ride and have a great day. And if you are having problems, you know, people are often more than willing to help. And I'm also sometimes have stopped and helped people if they had a problem with their bike. So now coming up is it's a switchback, I believe it's called, and that one was just murder too. I know I keep saying that right now, but that one was really awful because you had to have enough speed and a bit of technique to get up of it. And I'm still wasted when I get up at the top here. And I just failed a little bit and had to put the foot down, but I like to do it without having to put the foot down. So most of the time I do succeed, but I think there's a great deal of technique here, remembering just to build up a little bit of speed before you have those 180-degree turns. So, and again, it's kind of hard to see, but I think if I'll turn the camera here. Can we see it's going down here? Yeah, we might be able to see a bit here. So, yeah. But I always have to catch my breath after going up this one. So this dirt road has taken a bit of damage from all the rain the last 2 months. And you can see some bigger rocks here. It used to be quite smooth before that. And to the left, the trail comes out there from a lower part that I think is a bit muddy still. So I decided to skip it and go straight ahead up to a more drier part up here. And you can see they've been cutting trees down here as well. And it really doesn't look that cool right now. But usually in the summer when you go up here, you kind of feel like you can't see anywhere where you are. And you can't see there's a road down to the left. And you feel in a bit more isolated, and it's quite a nice feeling. So I'm kind of concerned what it will be looking like this summer. If you kind of get the sensation to be further away, because that's one of the cool things about this trail is, at least in the summertime, when you're riding around it and you feel like you're going so far away from everyone else, and in reality you aren't, and sometimes you're almost doubling back on the same path, and meeting the trails again, but you can't see it in the summertime. So it's quite a nice feeling to go around this trail, because you really feel disconnected from the rest of the planet. So it's going uphill here a bit, and then down, and then up again. You can see the road down there where we started to the left, going straight ahead. So we will be crossing some horse tracks again. That being said, they're quite steep going downhill. But I have seen prints from horses going down there, so the more adventurous types, I suppose, coming up to in a bit here. And it was actually right here that the horses used to cross, but probably won't be doing it now until all those tree branches get cleaned up. So this hill was also a bit of a killer for me in the beginning, and sometimes people who are a bit afraid of heights, including me, when you look to the left and when you got it up here in a little while, it looks a bit scary for some, because if you go off track, I don't think you'll be able to stop rolling down the hill here. And this is a nice piece where I just can catch my breath again after going up the hill and get ready to go for a bit more downhill and into a switchback, and that actually will lead us back to the boardwalk where we were before. So I usually just relax and enjoy the view here. You can't see it I can see that well. It's going downhill to the left here. So and there's usually people walking down there in the weekend, and then it's down with the saddle. And going downhill, I think I had a crash here one year. It was icy and was a bunch of ice right there, and I just continued straight ahead. I had over the handlebars and then had the bike on top of me, so yeah, that was no fun. But I landed on my backpack, and I actually wasn't much hurt that day, so it happens. So it's actually not that hot out here, so a few degrees above freezing, I believe. So I think I will put my cap on if I remembered it. I did. Yeah, so this was the first hour of riding today, and I did meet a few people on bike as well, and it's usually nice to people always say hello, you greet each other and say have a nice ride, so that's quite enjoyable. Don't I look clever now? So yeah, so there were quite a few people out here today, and people seem to keep distance to each other, and so that's nice. And I really hope that people will take good care of each other, because as I mentioned earlier, when I had those problems, the pneumonia, I learned to appreciate being able to breathe. And so yeah, I can feel that all the hours I spent in the fitness center this winter paid off. I have plenty of power to get up the hills. It's just the stamina I need to work on, and next year I need to remember not just to keep working on muscle power but also endurance. So but I think it's going to be a great summer, and yeah, so when we get into fall again and winter, I need to find some activity so I can keep up my cardio as well. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's going to be awesome, and I hope you had a nice time getting outside for a bit. So just sit here for a while and look at stuff. Well, I have two cameras running actually, so let's see. There's horse parking over there and fireplace there, and another one over there. So, but people didn't seem to venture this far into the woods today, so I have it mostly to myself to enjoy my coffee. So yeah, well, I'll be heading home. I just got a message from my vacuum cleaner that it's done cleaning my house. It's usually about an hour and 20 minutes. It needs to go back and recharge sometimes for 10 minutes and something like that. So, and it's getting colder. I think it's like 5 degrees or something when I left, and it's not getting warmer right now. 5 degrees above freezing. So yeah, so see you around. Have fun. Take care of each other, okay? So cheers.